looking out on the Potomac and just thinking about the history, I just want to just talk for a second about the campaign. I've known President-elect Obama for about 20 years now. We met at Harvard Law School, and the funny thing about Harvard Law School is that the library is full, but the gym is empty. And he and I used to play basketball, because basketball is one of those sports where it's always fun to play with somebody else. And I was there, I think it was the third day of class, and in walked this tall, skinny guy, left-handed, had a nice jump shot, distributed the ball well, named Barack Obama. He said people used to call him Barry, but now he wants people to refer to him by his God-given name, Barack. And struck up a friendship. And I looked up to him at the time, and not just because he's taller. Looked up to him because he had been out in the world. I was just a guy who was just trying to figure my way out. I came straight from undergrad to grad school. I've been fortunate enough to win a Sloan Fellowship to help me afford it. But he had been doing what is now somewhat infamous or famous called community organizing on the south side of Chicago. And so he had a sense of purpose and a sense of gravitas and a level of intelligence of someone I was unfamiliar with. And to see the way he worked and stayed on purpose. And then when we graduated, in my opinion, he was the #1 student coming out of our class. He was president of Harvard Law Review. Harvard doesn't actually publish grades, but he was magna cum laude. There's a few categories to Harvard Law School. There's summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and thank you laude. Well, there was no one who was summa, and in fact, when we graduated, no one had been summa in 30 years at Harvard Law School. And there were 4 students that were magna. Our president-elect was one. I was cum laude, and then there was the stupid people. But he came out of there the #1 student. And if you know anything about Harvard Law School or law schools in general, the opportunities that were afforded him, even the lowest student, were incredible. He could have clerked for an appellate in the Supreme Court. He could have gone on and taken a high 6-figure salary-paying job at a New York law firm or some other law firm. But instead, he stayed on his mission. And a lot of people, and this is, you'll hear people talk, it's revisionist history. A lot of people at the time at Harvard Law School said, this guy is crazy. He's turning down all this opportunity to go back and do work for people that he could have done without going to Harvard Law School. He could have gone to Poughkeepsie State and helped out somebody. But he wanted to help people, so he stayed on his mission. And I think that's a lesson for many of us. And I'm reminded, when I was on the campaign trail, we were sent to Virginia. We were all over the country, but this particular time we were sent to Virginia, and this was right before November 4th. And we were hitting city after city, speech after speech after speech. And the campaign called and said, we need you to go to Charles City to do a speech. And the staffer was like, what is Charles City? They said, well, we really believe that Virginia is going to be the key for us. And we really believe that this section that no Democrat has really carried, this Charles City area, we feel like if we get some surrogate presence there, we really can make a difference. So we're driving and driving and driving and driving and driving to Charles City. And as we're approaching this rally, I start seeing signs for plantations. Plantation after plantation after plantation. And we get to the rally, and it's a great, amazing crowd, and we hopefully did our best to engage them and get them ready. And as we were driving back, I asked the staffer, I said, could we stop at one of these plantations? And so the staffer we pulled into a plantation, and we walked up, and I was immediately struck. It was John Tyler's plantation, the 10th president of the United States. Wow. And as we walked around the grounds of this plantation, you could feel our ancestors and the connection that we have and the opportunity that we were going to have in a few days to elect the first African-American president who is descendant of these individuals that built this house, that built the White House, that labored all along these shores here. And that context reminded me of a quote from Dr. King that I think that we all need to remember, is that we are all tied together in a garment of mutual destiny. And if we remember that, if we continue to work after Tuesday, we can support President-elect Obama in this mission. And I believe, and I truly believe this, and having known him for 20 years, that if we do the work we need to do, he'll be in office for 8 years, and he will go down as one of the greatest presidents in this country. His name will go down with Lincoln, with Jefferson, with Roosevelt, as one of the greatest presidents this country has ever seen. So I just want to say this. I'll end with this, and probably the last time it's said. Are y'all fired up? Yeah. Fired up.